Good morning, everyone. It is December 11th today, and here we have Magnus from Supreme Roastworks, and he's going to introduce today's coffee. So why don't you tell us what's inside and what we're drinking today?
Today we have a beautiful, natural, processed Ethiopian coffee. This is actually new to us as well. So you guys are actually the first to have this.
Ooh.
We haven't had any from this specific area before. Basically, this is sourced by Nordic Approach. And we this year it has been a crazy year for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
So we went into the summer slightly desperate for naturals specifically from Ethiopia. We didn't find anything out there. Just a couple of super geeky stuff, but very low volume. So that wasn't anything we could actually offer our bigger clients. But eventually, on the third or fourth container from Nordic Approach, we got this Hambela Wamena from Guji. This is a guy, trying to spell his name correctly, Mekuria Mergia. He owns 3 washing stations, and Hambela Wamena is one of them. So in Ethiopia, as you know, and a lot of you guys out there know, there aren't farms per se. So we basically tend to name our coffees after the farmer. That's what we want to do. This in Ethiopia, we usually go by the washing station or community or city name or how small as possible.
Yeah. So in Ethiopian, is it like people with backyards and 5 trees in their backyard, or larger operations that go to the washing station?
Right here, I would say it's a little larger, but I don't know for sure. But yeah, basically, Ethiopia has been that way. Back in the day, it grew wild, not so wild anymore. But still, this is like several different varietals.
Yeah.
As you would expect from an Ethiopian. We also have actually this year other with specific varietals this year. But this is I don't know how many, but usually there tends to be somewhere between 10 and 20 different varietals. So I would expect that this is the case as well. I find this coffee quite pleasant. This coffee is not over fruity, it's not over fermented.
Yeah.
It's quite light on the palate. It's a little zesty. I have a different roast today than I think you have. I have a slightly older roast, so a test roast. So my roast has been sitting for a week longer.
Yeah.
And that helps. With naturals, we tend to say that you could wait for about, let's say, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Before you start drinking it, because we find it to be more open.
That's about perfect then, since it's December 11th today.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is pleasant, juicy, kind of slightly zesty, nice acidity, very balanced. It's clean. it's super elegant and super juicy, natural, basically.
Great.
Yeah.
And how for brewing? What's your suggested? How do you brew in Supreme Roastworks in the bar? How do you suggest for this coffee?
We brew by V60.
Yeah.
We also do batch brew, but with V60, we usually go a little coarser on the grind than with the washed coffees. So that it's just a slight adjustment. But I brewed this here at home this morning. I used about 32 grams for 500 grams of water.
Yeah.
And the brewing time was like 250. And it was done by 3:30, I guess.
Yeah.
And after the bloom, we usually let it bloom for, let's say, 40 seconds, depending on how fresh the roast is. But the second pour after the bloom, we go a little hard.
Yeah.
Instead of stirring by hand, we go a little hard.
Yeah, like you pour water higher up so it gets more agitation.
Yeah. So we use basically the water as an agitator.
Yeah.
So I poured about, let's say I pushed it up to 200 grams on that first pour. And then I just let it sit for some seconds, and then I go a little slower until it's finished.
Yeah.
So it depends on how it's dripping in the beginning, because that has to basically decide whether it's okay or not. So sometimes you have to go a little harder all the way. Sometimes you have to just back off a little bit. So
you have to speed it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. But we're quite hard in the beginning, and then we're a little softer in the end. So our brews at Supreme would be quite soft, but very delicate, and try to get that fruit balance, the acidity and the sweetness.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for the information. I want to keep this short, so I'll cut off today. And all right. See you.
Ciao.